We are live.
Land back, y'all. I am Chief Amalicha. I'm the Chief of Agitation and Propaganda within the Black Hammer organization. And I'm super excited to have everyone up in this live and everything today. So, as you know, we were supposed to have our wonderful Chiefs here today go live on the Fred Hampton Leftist podcast. But guess what? They flaky. So we still gonna go live. We still gonna show this colonized unity, this colonized brilliance as always. So thank you all for coming up into this live here today. Make sure to share everywhere. We already know that all of our Chiefs up in here are about to drop some gems. So make sure that you grab that YouTube link, all right? Make sure that you tweet it out to all your friends, your family, and everything. Share it on Facebook, drop it in someone's DMs, and to keep doing it throughout the whole live. You know, if you see your people drop off, bring them back in. Get up in that comment section because we got an amazing night laid out for y'all. So to begin, I want to introduce our wonderful Chiefs so we can go one by one and start off. I'd love to start with the amazing Chief Suh. How you doing today? Tell us a little bit about yourself, your position, BHO, and how you feel about the 4 principles of unity. Land back.
I'm doing great. We just got back from a really, really good outreach, so I'm feeling amazing. My name is Chief Suh. I represent the nations of Korea. I use they, them pronouns, and I'm the International Chief of Science and Technology. And Black Hammer, to me, it is my life. It gave me the opportunity to make my life into something meaningful because it gave me the opportunity to dedicate it to the liberation of all colonized people. So obviously, I unite with that 4 principles of unity. I think it's so powerful that we only have 4. And with that, we encapsulate where we are historically, why we're where we are historically, and where it is that we're going. That, to me, to do that so succinctly, so powerfully, it's like just it's lit. Like it's amazing. So I definitely unite with them for sure. Land back.
Land back. Thank you so much, Chief Suh. Now we can move it to Chief Ade, who's going to give us a little bit about the history. How you doing today, Chief Ade? And, tell us a little bit about Black Hammer Organization's history.
Oh my gosh. Well, my name is Chief Ade. I represent Africa and Turtle Island, and I am the Chief of Global Cyber Recruitment. And the history of Black Hammer is a really beautiful one. Like, we started in a heavily populated, colonized city down in Atlanta, Georgia, about 2 years ago. A little bit more now, because I've been saying 2 years since February, but it's been many months and we've grown so much since. I think the most interesting part about Black Hammer's history is just how quickly we expanded. There are actually a ton of other organizations who claim to be anti-colonial, who claim to be all for the people, who claim to serve the people. And in this 2 years, and quite frankly, after being in several of them, this is the only organization that I've seen who's put action behind everything that they've said. And I think the most powerful part about our history is that behind all of those actions is a willingness to correct ourselves and move forward for the people. We're at a point now where we're not even at the level of other organizations. We're at the level of a small government, of a sovereign who's trying to work for the people to free the masses truly. And it's a real distinction that we have. And I'm really proud to be a part of the organizations. 2 years and growing, I mean, not many people can say that. So land back.
Land back. Period, Chief Ade. We growing quickly. Tell me what other organization is as big as ours in a matter of 2 years. We just had a birthday too. Black Hammer has lit birthdays time to time, celebrating all that colonized unity and brilliance across the world. Land back. So last but not least, we got Minister of Defense Sundiata. So how you doing today, Minister of Defense? And how can our people get involved in Black Hammer? Land back.
Land back. Yes, I'm doing pretty good. I'm not going to lie. I had the same Hammer t-shirt on, and I was doing some amazing outreach here down in the ATL in Atlanta, back where we were born. the amazing colonized people everywhere. And also inform y'all who I am. If I understood the question correctly, I'm the Minister of Defense of the Black Hammer Organization. My name is Sundiata, and I represent the nations of Africa and Turtle Island. And I use he, him, his pronouns. And one of the things that I saw today is just how easy it is to be a revolutionary, right? About a year ago, I went on this journey myself, and I found how easy it is. I stumbled across the four principles of unity, realized it was kind of common sense that I united to inherently, and I stepped away from whatever petty boo aspirations I had and just got right into the work. So the answer is it's as easy to get involved as it is to type in blackhammer.org/join. Click enter on your space bar and then input your information, because our apparatus is going to bring you in, is going to get you right into the work where you best fit and where you're best needed. And then we'll be one step closer to full revolution and liberation for our people. So it's as easy as that. Go into a website in order to get involved. Land back.
Land back. Thank you so much, Minister of Defense Sundiata. So as you heard, make sure to join us at blackhammer.org/join if you haven't already, and get up in here. You know, we are out here building a dual contending power. We out on these streets every single day, making sure that our people get the resources that they need, that they get access to PPE, because this government thinks that this jab is going to do something, that Rona is over. Honey, we are still up in here, all right? So we got to make sure that our people are safe, and come through and join us. We got all these brilliant committees too, that each one of these chiefs is representing the amazing science and technology, who is out here giving our people water filtration systems. Now I know no other organization is doing that for their people, all right? We have got a whole defense apparatus making sure our comrades' minds, bodies, emotions, health, all of that is staying safe and on lock. And we have our amazing cyber recruitment. So you already know, if you join, they're going to be up in your DMs, making sure you get up into all of these committees and everything. So land back. But, you know, we got to let the people know why we're here and everything. So I want to go to Minister of Defense Sundiata first, but all of the chiefs are going to be answering this question, of course. So Minister of Defense Sundiata, why are we having this live on our page and not on the Fred Hampton Leftist podcast? Come on, tell the people.
Apparently, because they ain't about it. He just ain't about it. Yeah, I know. I only found out just a while ago we weren't going to be having this event. I really was looking forward to it. Always interested in seeing what other people are doing in their organization efforts, how we can collaborate and grow. But there's this understanding of our political line, specifically as it applies to white people who practice a certain religion, and this scapegoating of us as being anti that religion as opposed to anti-white people. But apparently the Fred Hampton leftists, or whatever they call themselves, love white people. And they're willing to look past colonialism to pander to an oppressive identity politics centered around a specific group of European people who practice Judaism. As the Black Hammer organization is fully invested into allowing and in engaging each and every member in practicing the faith of their choice to any extreme, to however they see fit, whether it's Judaism, it's Islam, it's getting into your indigenous spirituality. It all has a place in Black Hammer. That is our second principle of unity. But the white leftists, and apparently their friends, the Fred Hampton leftists, made it very clear where they stand, that they stand with colonizers and are willing to throw away an alliance with Africans, with Asians, with indigenous people to pander to that specific demographic. But I'm not mad. I'm happy. I love Chief Ade. I love me some Chief Sa, and I'm ready for this panel because we got a lot to talk about. Land back.
Land back. Thank you so much, Minister of Defense Sundiata. As you said, drop that principle of unity number 2 real quick. We believe that all colonized, poor, and working class people are equal, as was said. And so we do want to pass it off to Chief Ade next as well, who will also talk about, what we're going to talk about today and why Asians and African people should unite to overturn colonialism. So take it away, Chief Ade.
Land back. First of all, beautiful summation by MOD. I think really why we're here today is because we really have to have a base discussion of what unity across colonized masses look like. Okay. So I'm an African woman, right? And that's been my entire lived experience. And if I had gone along with what the colony told me, I would be up on the biggest soapbox with my golden violin, just playing my song about how it is the saddest experience in the world to be a woman and non-binary and also African. When in reality, like, only thing that has really harmed me and caused me long-term suffering is the colony. The only thing that has caused me any sort of like continued issue in my life and getting my land back, my resources, dictatorship over everything that it is that I do has been the colony. And the only one who has pushed any sort of division, poor housing, substandard water quality, genocide of the nation, theft of its land has been the colony. Now, I think in understanding that and coming to this political understanding, I see the only way forward is to unite with the majority of the planet. Imagine being like these podcasters and uniting with what, less than 5% of the planet over petty squabbles, which ultimately, historically, don't have anything to do with you. Asian people, it's like, have always worked and been in solidarity with African people. Colonized people have been traveling the world, trading together, exchanging languages, exchanging cultures, cloths, spices for thousands of years, millennia. Why would I let somebody whose refusal to wash their legs until Twitter told them to dictate how it is that my nation interacts with another? The combining in the not the solidarity, the unity I have with other colonized nations, with Asian nations, has been the stronghold in my life. Chief Suck could tell you, they've saved my life multiple times, nation regardless. I don't look at them. I don't think they have any Africa in them, but they have all the love for the colonized masses in their heart. And it reflects in their actions, and it reflects in how they move as a revolutionary, and it reflects in the safety that I have having them as my comrade. I would never give that up, especially not for the division, the baseless divisionism that only really benefits white supremacy. Land back.
Land back, Chief Ade. See, I knew you were going to lay it out and everything. This state be trying to divide us every single day, okay? But we already know their ways, okay? And we make sure to fight against that divisionism every single day with our unity. And you can see that all over the Black Hammer organization with all these global chapters we got going on, honey. The state cannot stop us. Land back. So I want to push the same question to Chief Suh. Chief Suh, why should Asians and African people unite to overturn colonialism? Land back.
Land back. Thank you so much. I definitely unite with what Chief Ade laid out, and I think the greatest thing about Black Hammer, and not just like ideally, like subjectively, it's so great, but literally great in that it allows us to do what it is we do. It allows us to have Hammer City, allows us to distribute 1 million masks, allows us to create a dual contending power for our people, is because we made the conscious decision to stop asking, begging, and bargaining with white people, right? And to completely redirect our labor away from the colony and within ourselves to build as a people and to build power for ourselves and as a people to gain our liberation. And so within that, it just divests completely away from letting, like Chief Ade said, white people dictate how we relate to each other. The violence between African and Asian nations is something that is installed. It is not organic. As Chief Ade said, Asian and African people was rocking with each other way back when these Europeans were throwing their own feces at each other in a cave in Europe. That's why there's Asian artifacts in Africa predating them leaving those caves, as well as African artifacts in Asia. There's literally statues of African people in Japan. So why will we now let this foreign alien nation that is committing genocide against both of our people, like, if someone, okay, so me and Chief Ade live together, right? If someone I never seen before in my life came into our house, shot the rest of our roommates, and then told us that we should hate each other, what is that? Like, it doesn't make any sense. And it's something that they do to keep us divided, because they know that if we were divided, it would be game over for them, which is what Black Hammer is, which is why it is game over for them. And I know we're going to get a little more into the history later, but I do just want to mention we have a beautiful, rich history of Africans and Asians uniting together to fight against colonialism. And I see Black Hammer as, you know, an elevation of that struggle, carrying on the torches of our ancestors who always understood that colonized unity was not only the best way, but the only way. Land back.
Land back. Thank you so much, Chief Suh, for laying that out. As y'all heard, colonizers, it's game over for you, but you need to fall under colonized leadership, okay? You need to be out here paying reparations, especially if you're feeling shameful about what your ancestors did to colonized people and everything. Make sure to Cash App, Build Hammer City. Venmo, Build Hammer City. All right, make sure to hit up our 2 Cash App and Venmo to drop those reparations. And if you're a colonized person, guess what? We got something coming for you anyway. And you know what it's called? It's the same thing as our Cash App. We building Hammer City, y'all. As you heard, we got a city that it's not about to have cops. Ain't no Rona finna be up there. Definitely not paying rent, okay? And you know what else? No white people. Y'all heard it here, okay? We are building a whole city, all right? And tonight, we want to set a goal of $300 in order to build this city, okay, y'all? So I want to see y'all pull out your wallets because I'm bringing around the collection plate, okay? So we can build Hammer City, all right? You know, Chief Suh in science and technology, they working and researching Wallapini structures. Have y'all heard of Wallapini structures? They are from our ancestors in Bolivia, and the Bolivian people still continue to use Wallapini structures. Chief Suh, could you give us a quick little rundown on Wallapini structures? Get the masses excited about what's finna be in Hammer City.
Land back. So yeah, Wallapinis are from the Aymara people of Bolivia, and they essentially allow you to grow food at temperatures that would not be available to you because they're usually used at like very high elevations, right? Like 10,000 feet or above. And so typically because of the climate, because of, you know, like snowstorms and just the pure cold and any like amount of precipitation that you get, you would not be able to grow food there very much. And so what Wallapinis are is they're essentially like underhouse greenhouses. They're dug anywhere from 6 to 8 feet below the ground, and how far down you dig really depends on the freeze line. So where the soil of the earth naturally freezes, because you want to go above that, obviously, because you don't want to dig down to the point that you're running into the same issue you would be above ground. So you're digging down into there, and it's actually the solar radiation of the earth itself that allows that structure, because it's built down under the ground, to maintain a temperature of 60 to 80 degrees like Fahrenheit year round. So you can essentially grow whatever you want in there, because that's the range that like most fruits, vegetables, plants really, really like. So this is just a testament to the brilliance of colonized people. You know, the colonizer, the only way they know how to grow food is like salt the earth, raise everything, force it to grow this like unnatural like monolayer culture or monoculture that only has this one thing that then they like extract from the earth for profit. But this is, I think it's interesting looking at the mode of production versus the reason you're producing. Like what I just described, the way the colonizer grows food, that's stupid. The only reason you would ever do that is if you wanted to maximize the profit that you're getting from the food and aren't really caring about feeding for people, giving them the sustenance that they need to live life. In our case, giving them the sustenance they need in order to fight for the liberation of our people and get free, versus something that uses that works in harmony of the earth. And what's wild is that in working in harmony of the earth, you get what you need from it anyway. You need a warmer area to grow your food. The earth will literally give it to you if you just act in unity with it and build these structures in unity with it, rather than hacking at it, destroying it, salting it, and essentially raping the earth to force it to produce for you what you want it to produce for you. And so that's the structures that we're looking at for Hammer City, and my committee has done so much research on them. There's all sorts of stuff you look at. You want to look at the angle of the roof, because that's how you determine how much sunlight is coming in based on the intersection of those angles. You want to look at the facing of the Walapini, because it needs to be at a specific direction to where the sun rises and sets. You want to look at the depth you're digging it. There's different methods of rainwater collection, different methods of ventilating. Some of them have doors at the top, some of them have doors at the side, some of them have an opening at the top. And there's just a lot of research that we've really done to put into it and be real scientists about it. And it's just so beautiful that we got this knowledge from the indigenous Aymara people of Bolivia, and are able to use it for our people as well as the whole colonized nation. Land back.
Land back, Chief Suh. Thank you so much for laying that out for us. These colonizers, they have no relationship to the land. That is mutually beneficial, ultimately, making sure that you grow with the land, that you have that connection that exists. Because guess who is our greatest and oldest comrade? Mother Earth. So we have to make sure that we are building that relationship with her every single day. But where are those donations at, y'all? Are y'all really that excited about building Hammer City? I told y'all I was passing that collection plate around. Who gonna drop $10 for Hammer City? $10 for Hammer City equals a whole Walapini structure, all right? If we get, let's say, $10 up in these comments, you're gonna get that Walapini structure like this, all right? So let me see it up in the comments and throughout this whole live. Remember, Cash App Build Hammer City, Venmo Build Hammer City. And guess what? We just hit our $91,000. Woo! Yes! We love to see it. See, we building quickly. And guess what? That is colonized brilliance, working together, seeing that, we need to build a city for our people. Out here in this world, they're evicting our people left and right. They're creating these divisions between our people. They're putting our people in jail and everything every day. So we got to make sure that our people get free immediately. So if you're really excited about Hammer City, let me see you drop them $10. Okay, Chief Oju. Yes, I love to see it. I know you're excited about Hammer City and starting up Freedom School. All right. Chief Oju, Chief of Curriculum, if you're a teacher and you're tired of the school system, get you at Chief Oju. Get up into this organization, all right, and join curriculum. blackhammer.org/join, all right? I see Chief Yalisli up in here building up the Ohio chapter and everything. We see you out here. Land back. I know you excited for Hammer City. Chief Gunn with another 10. Chief Gunn, the amazing Chief Gunn, starting this whole dual contending visual propaganda apparatus, who has their posters around every single corner of the world. That's international unity right there. And we're going to go even further into international unity as we go into our next question. So we're going to go into learning a little bit about the history of divisionism that exists. And I want to direct this question to Chief Ade first, just about the history of Africans and Asians being pit against each other, these riots, and also that liberal hashtag Stop Asian Hate. Tell us a little bit about it.
Lord have mercy. All right. Well, I'd say one of the key examples we see, at least in the empire that I'm in the United Snakes, so I'm going to speak about our example. The key examples that I've seen, at least in my personal life, of them trying to pit Asians and Africans against each other is with the Vietnamese and the Korean Wars. Those are two key examples that I've seen on our end, where they're trying to convince African people living on this continent that you have a foreign enemy who doesn't speak the same language as you, who doesn't hold the same values as you, who ultimately poses a threat to your life, despite the fact that the cracker up the street points a gun at you every time you go up the road on the main road instead of taking the back road behind your house, despite the fact that your white boss won't let you leave work without threatening to lynch you, even if you want to move north to get better wages, despite the fact that you didn't have an option for your black ass to go into war in the first place. Word to my grandpa Willie. But you see on the opposite end and the other end of the empire, when they're trying to convince Asian people to be against African people, you know what they use? a completely different rhetoric. They're not coming in saying that, oh, these people don't hold the same values as you. Oh, they are dangerous. Oh, they are X, Y, and Z. They're coming in telling you that we spread diseases. The colony makes up things so they can work to its benefit. And notice how in all these, like, none of it actually points to the truth. It doesn't have any historical basis. It doesn't have a material basis. It's all based in fear and subjectivity that doesn't even actually come from the people that it's referring to. See, my grandfather went over thinking that he was fighting for his freedom just to come back here and be the same old Negro that he was when he left, except now he has PTSD and alcoholism. See, and a lot of people in Korea right now, like, because they've been forced into like the colony and the colonial mindset, believe in their hearts that like the American system, that the soldiers who live there occupying their land actually benefit them in some way, and that are protecting them somehow from the Africans who migrate there as they have been for millennia. Now, what sense does that make? Not a lick. But you know what does make sense? An actual principled unity with Asia. Excuse you, Virginia. My goodness, I agree. Colonized unity is important. But like, what actually is important is actually having a material basis
Land back. It seems that Chief Ade is having a couple of technological contradictions. Y'all already know that's the state trying to come after us, always trying to come after our internet and Wi-Fi and everything. But once Chief Ade gets their technological contradictions figured out and everything, we still want to move it on to Chief Suh. And I do want to direct the same question to you, Chief Suh, around, giving us a little bit of history of Africans and Asians being pit against each other, these riots, and also tell us about this hashtag Stop Asian Hate.
Land back, yeah, I want to 100% fully unite with everything that Chief Ade laid out, and I think so much of it just goes into the propagandizing. Like, they always look at that unity. They always it's what they choose to propagandize, right? Because I think the riots you're talking about is the ones in LA following the murder of Rodney King. There were Africans who were justifiably rising up in mass, and then there were Asian business owners who were not happy that they were rising up in mass. So you get, for example, a lot of propaganda around that, just the war between them, right? However, and then there's a lot of propaganda around, like, the liberal media really pushed when a Korean woman killed a young African girl, Latasha Harlins, who was trying to steal some orange juice from her store. We know that that's BS. She's a sellout. She had that in her heart to do that. She's been brainwashed by the system of colonialism to believe that African people are her enemy, so much so that she saw a 14-year-old girl as her enemy and as an existential threat to her store or whatever. That's as big of a sellout as you can get. But for every Asian who does that, for every Korean owner who does something like that, there is a Korean store owner who did something like we heard about in Atlanta from someone y'all met in outreach, who literally just gave an African man her store. And for every African man who was forced to be sent to Vietnam to kill Vietnamese children, there is another African man who literally defected, absolutely refused to do it, and who lives in Vietnam to this day. Like, they defected by the thousands, but you don't hear about that in the media because they want to sow that divisionism. And you know what else you don't hear about? Not just the individual basis of unity between Asian and African people, but the national unity between Asian and African people. I know we're going to talk later about Ho Chi Minh and Marcus Garvey and the way they built together. People don't know the DPRK invited the Black Panther Party into Pyongyang, and they came and they sat together at a table and they built. The DPRK has sent weapons to and building materials to Burundi and Sierra Leone and Uruguay and all over the world. They send it to Palestine, not just with African nations, but other colonized nations as well. Thomas Sankara and Kim Il-sung were best friends. Kim Il-sung gave Thomas Sankara a mother of pearl pistol that Thomas Sankara kept on him his entire life and was buried with. We don't hear that in their media because they don't want us to know that we even can unite.
Period. The Kim family to this day, at any point, and mind you, this is happening by the thousands. It's happened to me, actually, where I've gone online and see what message it is that DPRK is giving to the people, and it's one of solidarity and unity with the African people being unjustly murdered by a colonial state. Now, where are you seeing that? Not with Dementia Jozo decrepit behind. Not with any of white power who tries to tell me that a Korean person who has stood beside me and who has nationally stood beside my people as actually my enemy. You just don't see it because the material reality reflects history. And history tells us that this colonized unity is something that's always been. And unlike colonialism, it's something that's going to last because it has a basis that benefits the people and the land. Period.
Land back.
Land back. Y'all see that colonized brilliance all in one room right there. Yes, salute to Chief Ade and Chief Sa for laying that out for us. You sellouts, I promise you, white power ain't gonna get you anywhere. Their money ain't gonna get you anywhere. They're just gonna divide you further from the people, further from the lands. And then you got nothing. You isolated. Come join your people. You see this collective brilliance? All right, get up in here. Forget that hate. All right, put it to the side.
And I forgot to answer your other question. We just got to riffing and it just, but in terms of the Stop Asian Hate hashtag, I see that in the same light as I see them painting a street that said Black Lives Matter only to turn around and shoot an African person on it. It's absolutely meaningless. Crumbs from the colony are absolutely meaningless. What is a hashtag when my people are dying and you've historically killed them? That's the other thing. We have to understand. It's not, oh my gosh, there's Asian hate all of a sudden. This is so crazy. You killed 20% of the population of my people in the 50s. This is not crazy.
You started the state of California by banning Chinese people?
So understanding that it's not, you can't take down a system of colonialism that has oppressed a people for 600 years with the hashtag. And they never intended to. It's crumbs from the table. It's so you can feel good for a second, like somebody sees you so that they're able to keep extracting your labor, stealing your land, stealing your resources, and killing you in massage parlors. And it's a way to quell the masses, to give them complacency. The same reason that they made Juneteenth a federal holiday. You see, they use the same tricks on all colonized people. But the level of consciousness within the masses has just risen to the point that it's not working and people can see that it's BS.
Exactly that. I think what's really key in all of these hashtags, from Stop Asian Hate to Black Lives Matters, is that there is no call to action. There's nothing materially that the masses can actually grasp to. What is Asian hate? Is it me spitting in your eye, or is it the U.S. government killing 20% of your people?
Unclear.
Is it me saying like, oh, you're a G-slur? Or is it the U.S. government stealing like 40% of my people from the West African coast and then forcing us to fight in a war against you?
Who knows? And
or is it a cracker going into a effing massage parlor with the intent to kill and then doing so? What hate is it that we're stopping? When I would say I want to stop hate, I'd like to see a fall of the United States. I'd like to see Joe Biden choke on his pudding. I would like to see Henry Kissinger's death, and I want to wear a nice, pretty dress. And I want to see a future where African and Asian people can look at one another and simply actually see another human being, because there is no existential threat or like whiteness basis to tell us that we have any fundamental differences. Our second principle of unity lays it out very plainly that we don't. The only thing that we have together is a common enemy, and that's whiteness.
And similarly, right, like Black Lives Matter is so like
empty.
What, like, oh, you matter. Like, do you feel more free?
No.
Does it feel like the boot on your neck has been lifted? It's just, it's the base level. It's just like, it's such an empty word that it almost feels like a slap in the face. What is matter under a system that is built under genocide? You matter for the labor they can extract from you.
You know
I'm
what
sure.
really matters about it? It's marketability. With all of these hashtags, Stop Asian Hate, Black Lives Matter, you can go onto Tinder today and put it as one of your things that you like, in addition to hiking and cafe lattes. Like, it's meaningless. It's completely meaningless, and it's marketable. We see who are the ones who are actually able to benefit from this. It's like the people who were in Crazy Rich Asians, or the talented 10th ass motherfuckers who come on Tyler Perry movies to make these terrible crap that actually aren't bringing our people up. If you want to do something that's actually bringing your people up and bringing them back to the point of dignity, respect, and, you know, self-determination that they once had, how about you get their land back?
Revolution, that's it.
Land, lives, labor, resources. It's so simple. That's all I need. That's all I want. You can keep the hashtag and actually keep Twitter too, because I don't like the nerds that are on there. Period.
Weirdos.
Land back. Period. All right. These hashtags ain't gonna do nothing if there are no material solutions actually coming from them. And you know what Black Hammer has every single day? What we come to our people with, bringing them these resources and everything, we show them material solutions. And it's global, honey, okay? We show that unity. We get away from that divisionism, all right? We make sure to bring our people in. So I want everyone in the comments right now to show that unity, all right? Let me see it right now. We're gonna drop the hashtag international unity. Guess why? Because we're actually doing it. We're actually out here building with our people all over the world. Push these sellouts to the side, all right? They ain't got nothing to offer if they given into white power and everything. We see that with Kamala. Girl, we see you, okay? White power ain't gonna do nothing for you. That's why your whole office falling apart too, okay? Let me see it in the comments. Hashtag international unity, okay? Chief Charlotte want to see all that colonized brilliance all over the world. Comrade Free. Yes, Comrade Free is so excited to bring in their comrades from corner to corner of this earth into the revolution. And just know, your colonized brilliance, that unity exists within Black Hammer. So join us at blackhammer.org/join. But now I want to pass off another question to Chief of Defense, Minister of Defense, self-critical, Sundiata, all right, about the history of our unity and everything. And we see this history of unity between Ho Chi Minh and Marcus Garvey. Could you go into depth and tell us a little bit more about it? Land back.
Land back, yes, I can. But first, I gotta say some other things. I've been holding my tongue because there's a lot of brilliance coming from Chief Sa and Chief Ade. I also wanted to speak to the lost brother who is in the who's in the comments here, who was saying he's Black and not African, and saying that you're not our people if you only half. My brother, look, you from Africa. All right. There ain't no nation called Black. Ain't no people ever called themselves Black. All right. Just to get that straight. I'm an African. I also have ancestry that is indigenous to Turtle Island. And no matter if you was half white, you were quarter white, whatever, you colonized still. You got that colonized blood. So I wanted to set that straight first. And also respond to this discussion about the hashtag, right? Black Lives Matter. Stop Asian hate. I mean, probably next year is going to be like Arabs deserve fun too, or something that focuses on a specific group, right? You ain't never going to hear no colonized unity. They ain't never going to say we all getting together and we beating the white man. They ain't going to say that on CNN, whatever. They're going to keep it separate because that's how it's engineered to be. But I do want to speak on as well the connection that you mentioned between, Ho Chi Minh, who spent a lot of time in Harlem, so I'll call him Uncle Ho, who actually got a chance to meet with and learned a lot from Marcus Garvey, who was the leader of the UNIA, the United Negro International Alliance, who was essentially trying to create dictatorship for African people over African labor, over land for African people, etc. Creating a dual contending power, if you will, for his African people. And then Ho Chi Minh saw that, knowing that his Vietnamese people were suffering under repression, under French colonialism, took that very same lessons that he had learned listening to Brother Marcus Garvey speak, and he got his people free. Now, we've seen the way that the UNIA was treated by the white left, by just the colony, etc., snuffed out, destroyed. They tarnished Marcus Garvey's name, make him sound as if he's a lunatic. But we see very clearly that the man who listened to him, who was able to take his ideas, got his people free, and unseated the colonial grip of France, as well as the United States of America. So it is very clear here that there is a similarity in the tactics, in the approaches, right, in the strategy that we have to use either as Africans or as Asians or as people who are indigenous to Turtle Island or Pachamama. It's obvious that we need to be sharing the same notes if we all want to get free, which is the most obvious point behind colonized unity. We make up over 90% of the globe, of the population. Yet because the white man are some savages and don't respect the earth, don't respect humanity, we've been tricked into believing that we are minorities. That is not the case. The only important thing is that we can become a united majority, look to the previous revolutionary ancestors like Uncle Ho, right? Like Marcus Garvey, like Malcolm X, and the multiple different nations of people that he had worked with during his time. And we can know very clearly what the future is to hold, because we are dialectical materialists. Because colonized unity is really all we have. So it's important that we make it a very important focal point of our revolutionary organizing. Land back.
Land back. Thank you so much, Minister of Defense Sundiata. Real revolutionaries unite. Y'all heard that? Malcolm X was uniting with everybody around the world. Marcus Garvey, Ho Chi Minh, Chavez in Venezuela. We got all these revolutionaries, and they know all about that international brilliance and everything. So let's make sure to, thrive in it. Thrive with your people every single day. Because one thing that Minister of Defense Sundiata also said that was a fact, y'all know colonizers make up like less than 10% of this whole world. We ain't no minorities. We are the majority. So we must unite with each other to smash colonialism, to smash white power, and all of colonialism's symptoms, honey. So get up in here and do it with us. All right. I want to pass it off to the next question because we got a couple of more to go for y'all tonight. There are African people that are upset about this hate crime bill that they haven't gotten. Honey, the government isn't going to get you anywhere. This legislation does nothing. But I want to hear it from Chief Suh. What's up with this hate crime bill? What is it going to do? And if it does nothing, what should we be doing?
Land back. I think this is a perfect example of the flawed thinking that the more involved you are in the system that's killing you, the better off you are. I'm going to tell you exactly what this bill does. It literally pushes pigs into our neighborhoods to assault us and terrorize us and potentially kill us. And I don't see why that's a win. Being forced further and further into the system is not a win. And that's why they created the model minority myth, right? That posits the Asian colonized person as someone who is more acceptable to the colonial state because they work really hard for the same systems that murder them. I saw something the other day that was the Asian American dream is to earn the privilege of engineering the bombs that kill your people in your homeland. And it's literally that. And so seeing anything the colony gives us is not a gift because they're not going to give us anything that is worth having because they are dependent upon us being colonized, upon us having labor that they can exploit. And that's what this is, that model minority. It's climbing a ladder made of your people's blood and bones so that you can live comfortably at the expense of your people. And similarly, I think celebrating this bill is a colonized mindset because all it is doing is inviting more colonial violence into our neighborhoods. And if we see it more clearly like that, we would understand that that's why we need to unite. They're not going to give us anything. It's something that we can only win for ourselves through the unity of colonized people. The bill I would rather not have it. I would rather not have more police in my neighborhood. I would rather not have more repression in my neighborhood. And I would rather not have them do that to the point that so many of my Asian people feel like we won. Because what that does is stops them from going out in the streets, stops them from joining revolutionary organizations, stops them from fighting for actual change, stops them from fighting against colonialism, stops them from believing that we need a revolution. And they do that so often to quell the masses. And unfortunately, I think that a lot of the times it works because of this mindset that there's anything they can give us that's going to help us out. There's not. Just divest of that entirely. It's never going to happen.
May I speak, Chief Alma? Okay.
Go ahead, Chief Ade.
I just wanted to say, first of all, full unity. You're so brilliant. But second of all, who is it before you begin to celebrate this white power state, who is it that's going to be prosecuted for these hate crimes? Is it Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch? Because last I heard, he beat an Asian man nearly to death with a bat on a Boston bus.
Is it Woody Allen?
No, it's
For
not Woody
adopting
Allen.
a Korean girl and raping her?
Oh, yeah, for raping his daughter. No. Is it the gentleman who came and killed 3 Palestinian women up the road from us just for existing and wanting to get an education in a state that tells them they don't have value unless they do? No, I think it's going to be niggas. I'm not going to hold you. I think it's going to be black people. I think it's going to be just like what we saw with the Colonial News Network, taking one small story, an instance where the colony has forced you into violence against people just like you, and then blowing it up to exponential proportions. You know how many times I saw that story about an African man robbing a small elderly Korean woman? You know how many times I saw that story? At least 15. You know how many times I saw the story of the drunk driver up the road from me, a white wealthy frat boy who killed about 4 people? Once, because I happened to be scrolling on WRIL. Like, the intention here is not to stop any form of hate, because if the intention was to stop hate, then certainly the U.S. would be pulling all of their warships out of the Pacific Sea. Certainly we'd stop occupying the southern half of Korea and, 144 other bases globally. Certainly we wouldn't be dropping 4.56 magnitude bombs into the the Atlantic Ocean for the benefit of the colony so that they can test their weapons and intimidate those who have surrounded our completely weak, useless American borders. No, it's not going to do that. It's going to prosecute black people. It's going to prosecute Asian people. It's going to prosecute Latino people. And white power is going to pat itself on the back for stopping Asian hate that they caused on stolen land that they refuse to get their disgusting behinds off of.
Come on.
Like, you really got to see the full scope here. Who's benefiting? Prison owners, cops, probably the people who like to produce those big events where they raise lots of money to go to nothing, Korean defectors, but not your people, not the colonized masses. It's never going to under a white power state, so we should just let it go. Bless and release, like Commander says. It's really okay to let go of white power and focus.
It's not for us.
It never was for you. It's built at your expense. Like, were you going to be like the first Asian person to own a private prison?
Oh my God, I would have died. If Andrew Yang had become president, I would have died of shame. I mean,
if Andrew Yang would have even become mayor of New York, like, I love New York, I'm a New Yorker, I would have died of shame. If Andrew becomes the freaking most popular customer at Starbucks, I am dying of shame. That sellout needs to go. And all sellouts need to go. What we need is colonized unity, not an adherence to a state that hates us and shows it with their action. Come on, action every day.
Land back. Y'all heard Chief Ade and Chief Suh. It's about action. You could type up all these little words in your document, senator, whoever you are, congressperson, whoever you are, but it's not going to do anything for us. It's just going to send the pigs further into our communities, and we don't want them in here. Leave, please. All right. We trying to build this colonized unity every single day, and we don't need you here. All right, go back to your little dirty pig station or whatever. All right, while we go smash white power. Land back. Now, I do want to divert the same question to Minister of Defense Sundiata. What about this hate crime bill? What is it going to do? And yeah, like, how is it actually going to bring material solutions? But we already know it's not. So how do you see this hate crime bill ultimately turning out if we get it, I guess?
I'm back. Yeah, I mean, first, I want to unite with everything that's been said by Chief Ade and Chief Suh, and the comment here about anything they give to us already have figured it out how to take it back. But I would even change that. I'd say anything they give to us is either a knife or a syringe. It's either a way to kill you or a way to take what you got and kill you at the same time. And the great thing about this is it's double-sided, right? And an Asian person sees the bill that's supposedly going to keep them safe from hate crimes, and then suddenly they feel as if, I mean, they're going to begin to be flooded, like you said, Chief Suh, with, stories, court cases of Africans, the propaganda that we've seen about Africans, assaulting Asian people, and this violence that is conducted in a colonial way. In a way, also, they might feel like they're safer as Asians, right? They don't need to work with the same bills that, African people have. They don't need to rely on the same things. They're good. And in a way, it empowers those who lean into the colony, right? The Asian people who want to be part of the colony feel empowered, while Africans feel angry at those Asian people, right? They think, well, damn, I want a bill. They think, damn, I want a bill, not knowing that it took a bill to make it legal for you to be enslaved off an eighth of marijuana. That's the 13th Amendment. That's a bill. Any bill that you get from the state is only going to continue to stay true to what the root of the state is, which is slavery building it, which is it being used as a manufacturing point to create and distribute weapons that are going to be dropped on Asian continents. So there's dystopian idea that we're going to have, the Asian American is going to be empowered and protected and be able to also levy against those Asian countries, right? We have to see this as well as bringing divisionism between Asians in the colony who feel empowered about this and then believe to see America as the victor against the Communist Party of China, right? Against the DPRK, against Vietnam and their communist adventures and ventures into creating pure communism, right? So it is going to do nothing but create more divisionism and incarcerate more Africans, which is really the MO of the entire United States. So why wait for a bill from the same beast that killed your grandparents, your great grandpappy, your grandmama, made sure that nobody could have a stable education, made sure that you were going to be the first who gets that education, make you think that you got to step on your own people in order to get up, but you want a bill because you think Asian people are getting one up on you, right? You think that, I'm losing the spotlight somehow and need to be supported in the same way, which is entirely fake, right? As we discussed, there is no material to this. It's just a very interesting marketing tactic to sow divisionism and create trust of Asians in the colony. It's very well created.
Land back, Minister of Defense Sundiata, period. What these old white men gonna do for you, okay? All they have is the same soul as George Washington and all those dudes they call the forefathers or whatever. Who are those white men that wrote those bills, the Constitution? I don't even know, but I know that they live inside of Mitch McConnell, okay? They live inside of all these other old white men like Joe Biden, okay? And somehow they got to like AOC, y'all. AOC, who's writing bills. Girl, you got a whole white man, old white man in your head talking about liberty and freedom with America. Girl, shout out to your fellow radicals in Congress who ain't gonna do nothing, okay? Laying back. So we gonna keep it moving, all right? So as y'all heard recently in the news and everything, Sha'Carri Richardson, who is this top-notch track star in the United States, was suspended because they were using cannabis and they caught her and decided, you can't participate in the Olympics. What? Okay, stop. And we already know that Japanese people are against the Olympics taking place, and especially during this continued Rona time with this jab that don't even work, all right? So we want to understand, how this connection shows unity that the Black Hammer organization ultimately discusses every single day, right? Making sure that, we tap into both the Japanese people who are against this Olympics taking place, and also Sha'Carri, who has been taken out of the Olympics. It's just gonna make the Olympics even more boring. We already know if she's not there. So I wanna start off with Chief Ade. Tell us about this unity that exists between the Japanese people who are against this, first of all, and Sha'Carri and African people all around the world.
Well, first and foremost, I just want to salute all of the Japanese people who continue to fight for their own self-determination over their land, over the resources, which are going to benefit white power's entertainment. But what we're really seeing here is a denial of any ability to celebrate yourself or your actual nation, from the fact that Sha'Carri actually has to compete within the United Snakes to the fact that she was barred. Bitch, if you can run 10.49 seconds, 100 meters while high, give her 2 gold medals. Matter of fact, go ahead and pull out one of Michael Phelps' teeth and give that to her, because she's more of an athlete than that nigga will ever be, ever in his guiltless life. Like, I just really don't understand why we keep like putting so much into white power. Because even when they have an opportunity to look, I really thought that white power was going to propagandize through the whole black girl magic thing for the Olympics to pull in viewers. But they don't even have enough sense to not treat us like fucking animals. Oh, gosh almighty. They're freaking animals. And in terms of solidarity between African and Japanese people, what I've seen throughout all the people I know who are really like tapped into this ish is African people standing in unity with the Japanese people, refusing to watch the Olympics, refusing to watch the trials, refusing to engage with it. I see athletes like Naomi Osaka, who is such a joy and a love and so talented. I love her very much. If you're watching this, we love you. Join Black Hammer today. Join Black Hammer. We love you. Yeah, who actually took an active stance and said, I'm standing with my colonized nation. And if Haiti can't take me, I love you. I'm going to compete for Japan because I see victory in my people. I see victory in fighting for my nation and having colonized unity as opposed to unity with the white power state. Sha'Carri, if you're watching this, I want you to see this as not a closed door, but a blessing, girl. Take the time that you need to mourn, because it's completely unfair that white power and its deviousness and its ugliness went up to you to sabotage you. Because what I want you to know, this is a key detail that white power keeps leaving out, is that a white reporter from the Colonial News Network, CNN, I know y'all hoes are watching this, y'all came up to her 5 minutes after her beautiful African mother passed away from a disease that your disgusting healthcare system could not save her from, and told her, despite her family's wishes and her wishes, that her mother had died with the expectation that you would throw her off of her performance. She then, in a legal state, chose to use marijuana because she's an adult who can self-determine if she feels like it. And y'all took that as an opportunity to harm her. Everything that y'all were doing was to harm her. Every narrative that you pulled up about her was to harm her. And when you couldn't dig any dirt because all she was is an African and an athlete who loves her people, you did this to her. You harmed her with the death of her mother, and then you harmed her with her any ability to try to overcome that so she can continue to compete for your white power state, for Nike to get a couple more bucks, for some cracker to come up after she got her gold medal and tell her that her hair is too long or that her nails look too much like FloJo's and that she shouldn't compete like that. Foolishness. It's a blessing in disguise, baby girl. You deserve freedom and dictatorship over your land, and you don't deserve to compete for a white power state who doesn't see your talent. You and FloJo and every other African athlete who makes these white power crackers look good deserve so much more. You deserve gold, riches, and every bit of your land back, because that is what's going to give you power. And you know what? I'll close it on this, baby girl. We know you're the fastest in the world. You really don't need white power to tell you. And baby, if you want me to melt down my gold plate necklace and mail it to you because I believe in you and I have principled unity with you and your ability, I will mail it to you because you are a gold medal athlete. You are a star. You are an African who deserves dictatorship over her land, her life, her labor, and her resources. And there's nothing that white power can do short of getting their behinds back to Europe that will give that to you. Period. Screw them. Nasty crackers. They wish they could run that far. Even when Target's having a good sale, they don't take their big behinds that far or that quickly. You wish. And off of a J, man, I wonder if she was sober. You hoes wish. Y'all are slow, useless, and pasty, and you could never, ever. And that's why Nike's not endorsing you through your drug deals. They just kick your nasty behinds off because you don't even place to get into the Olympic trials. You're a waste. Your little peninsula on the side of Europe or on the side of Asia is a waste. And everything that you compete in is going to be boring and unwatched because you need us. You've always needed us. We're the only thing that makes the Olympics exciting because y'all can't compete or do anything that's worthwhile without copying us. So check that. Land back.
Land back and period, Chief Ade. See, colonized people, you are stars, okay? Don't let anybody else tell you anything. White people, they just burnt out, okay? They're nothing. They are a big black hole of nothing. They don't do anything. They're not fast. They're not talented or anything. But you could still, drop a little reparation. So maybe you could have some talent. Maybe we could see the talent, just a tiny bit, a minimal amount. So make sure to Cash App, Build Hammer City, and Venmo, Build Hammer City. Let me see them reparations, colonizers, okay? Because, y'all need to make up for, what you just did to Sha'Carri, who is a brilliant runner, who is the fastest fastest in the world right now, okay? Michael Phelps, get out the way, okay? You ain't done nothing for anybody, all right? You as a colonizer, gross, disgusting. See, I already know about these colonizer swimmers, having swum my whole life and everything. Michael Phelps don't mean nothing to me, okay? He doesn't mean anything to any people, hasn't done anything materially to pay back reparations. So if you are Michael Phelps, okay, if you are Ryan Lochte, okay, another white swimmer, okay, if you, any of them, any type of colonizer athlete, you better drop them reparations, build Hammer City, Cash App, and Venmo. And if you colonize and want to get out of this world where you can't show your true talent, where white power is trying to bring your star down from the skies, guess what? We're going to throw you back up into the sky, all right? And you're going to see all those stars in the sky. Guess where? In Hammer City, okay? Zero light pollution in Hammer City, okay? All right, we're going to see all the stars in the sky and within our beautiful city, Hammer City. So let me see them donations for Hammer City. Remember, it's Cash App, Venmo, Build Hammer City, all right? Okay, again, we have a goal of $300 tonight. So let me see you drop some of those donations. I want to go to Minister of Defense Sundiata real quick. Minister of Defense, what are you most excited about when we get to Hammer City? So everybody drop $10 for Minister of Defense Sundiata as well. Land back.
And back, yeah, let me see some donations. I gotta see some more cash. I know y'all thinking about ordering Uber Eats. You know they charge you $9 extra, right? You can just drive down the street. Take that $9 and put it towards something material, and put it towards something that is going to change your life, right? Be walking around a little bit, and we've been doing outreach a little bit and talking to folks, and we talk about Hammer City, and there's something special that happens when you mention that to young parents, right? People who want to raise children. I think a lot of people in our life, a lot of people that I know at least have said, having kids, like, you're bringing people into this world and it's just like so bad. Like, why would you bring people in? Like, why would you have a child that you know is going to suffer in the colonial system? Because we won't let them suffer in the colonial system, right? That's the reason. Because we are going to do something between now and when your child is of age or birthed. We're going to do something between now and the end of our lives. It's going to ensure that the lives of those in the future, right? Because we understand time is this thing we can't even really comprehend, right? When all of us and everything that is left of all of us is dust and bones, I want there to be a Hammer City, a plot of land, a country, an island where I know that colonialism will not prevail. And I know that my children, my grandchildren, great-grandchildren, I don't know how far down the line, are going to have access to clean water, good, healthy food that they can cook with the knowledge of their ancestors. Maybe I'll pass a recipe down, as well as an apparatus that's going to protect them, right? And that's what the organization, and specifically Hammer City, is, right? We've done a lot of this organizing. We've done amazing things, but one thing that has not been accomplished yet by any revolutionary organization, by any activist organization, is having your own place, right? Having your own place where you make the rules, you build your house, you deliver your mail, right? Somebody who looks like you and respects you and will never, ever exploit you lives right next to you. You share a garden with them, right? A place where you can truly live untouched by the colony. Untouched by the colony. And that's a dream that is hard to have, right? It's an idea that does not come into people's heads. Oh, they gonna get y'all, or y'all can't just run away. You can't just run away from the problem. Oh, nobody's running away. We moving in. we moving in. We moving in. We are entrenching ourselves in the nature, in the land where our ancestors have worked together to practice the same dream, right? To work to create this exact thing, because we hear them, we feel them. It's in the earth. It's in our bodies, right? We are moving in. We ain't running away, because Hammer City is going to be a place for people to thrive. And only when you are fed, when you are housed, when you are thriving, can you be a revolutionary for the people. I truly believe that. Until then, you still colonize. Once we get rid of that, y'all don't even want to know what's next, right? And that's the thing, right? You have to believe in material conditions and understanding that once we shift that, a couple of houses, a couple of acres of land, it can do it. You empower those people to look past the next meal, look past whether they're going to have a roof over their head and see something brighter on the horizon. That's a world without colonialism. That's true. That's true. That's a life with free of being told that because your ancestors have been either duped or slaughtered or abused or raped or stolen, that you deserve to have exactly what you need. It's a place without division, right? Without divisiveness, where we know that no matter who you are, if you unite against colonialism, then you will be seen as an equal here. So I'm going to step off the pedestal. I only got time for a short sermon today, but I'm sure there'll be more because this is an idea that we all wholly believe in, and we can see the material reality of it. It's already here. I can't wait for y'all to see it too. Land back.
Land back. MOD said this is for everybody and the kids, especially. These kids are our future. So can I get a hashtag for the kids in the comments? Come on, we building Hammer City for all our people, okay? Including our future, the children, all right? And we already know MOD gonna live till he's like 150 or something to see his great-great-great-grandchildren too. So, and that's gonna be all colonized people in Hammer City, because this state, they've been trying to come after our lives for so long. You know, our people are supposed to live well into their hundreds, all right? Because we know how to, you know, relate to the land, relate to our people. So let's get back to that. We're going to live long lives in Hammer City. So let me see $10 for the kids. Who got $10 for the kids? And if you ain't got $10, drop 5. But if you're a colonizer, let me see you drop 50. All right, let me see. And how do you donate? Cash App, Build Hammer City. Venmo, Build Hammer City. All right. Let me say it again for y'all. Cash App, Build Hammer City. Venmo, Build Hammer City. All right. Because we doing it for who? Hashtag for the kids. All right. Land back. So we're going to keep it moving and everything. And we do want to talk a little bit more in depth about Hammer City for y'all. See, we just touched it just a little bit, but we're finna take a deep dive into Hammer City. So I want to pass it off to Chief Ade. You know, what is Hammer City? What we building out here?
Oh my God, Chief Amma, what aren't we building? This dual contending power is just really all encompassing. Look, every corner that white power exists in, you're going to see a hammer coming in and actually building something that benefits colonized people. And that first amazing dialectical step is Hammer City. We got 200 beautiful acres of liberated land. And aside, I'm just going to lay the absolute basics. There's no cops, there's no Rona, there's no crackers. There's no starvation, there's no homelessness. Did I mention that there's no crackers? Because that's really, really the key here, is that when you aren't forced into a white power system in any sense, everything about your life changes. And that's what we're trying to build here in Hammer City, what we're going to give to our people. Between the dual contending healthcare system, dual contending education system, food, housing, mental health care, physical defense. We're not just building a city. This is nothing like what you're seeing with like white leftists or anarchists, which is ultimately ineffective and impermanent. What we're building is a nation, y'all. We're doing exactly like Mao did. And we're here on our long march and we're going to all the different ethnicities and different groups. And we're saying, here, look, here's the 4 principles of unity, dog. You might equal no matter what you say. And less than 3% of the planet has been trying to tell you otherwise for millennia. So what's up? You know what our people are saying? Sign me up. Land back. Because I'm with it. And that's what we're really going to be building within Hammer City. You mentioned it earlier, but we have a Walapini structure to address the super high elevation that exists on the land. Within the designs, if you go onto our website, you can see the earth bag homes, which are going to work with the clay that naturally exists on the mountainside. It's going to be built up in a way that actually allows it to not only be like thermodynamic, so it allows temperature control within it, but it's going to have solar panels within it. It's going to be connected to the other homes in the community so that there's not any isolation, because the colony really pushes this individualism, which is harmful and ultimately pushes our people to a point of feeling like they're alone when nothing in the universe has ever existed in this unorganized individualist faction. And then finally, we're going to be building up true community. This is something that colonized people, through it all, we've built it, but have we ever really had it? Have we ever really been able to hold that dictatorship and say that I am safe, my rights, my life, my land, my labor, my lineage, and everyone around me is safe because I was able to determine for myself how I want to live my life, where my labor was going to go, what my future was going to look like. And that's what we have with Hammer City. And I just want to mention that this is just the first of many. And so I'm really passionate about this project because, like, I'm not going to lie to y'all, I abandoned the idea of having children a very long time ago. It was a sad decision that I made at 19 years old. Before I'd even finished completing my college major, I decided I wasn't going to have kids because it was selfish to put an African child through that. And I couldn't do it in good faith. And I have hope for a future that I gave up on almost 10 years ago because of this project. I have a guarantee that I won't die in childbirth with a white man looking at me denying my pain. I have, you know, not everybody's religious. It's the second principle of unity. I unite with whatever religion you focus on. But, like, I have what I read about in the Bible a very long time ago, a hilltop to carry my elders to. And I've wanted that my whole life. And there's nothing within the colony I've been able to build or fight for or sell out for that has ever come anywhere near. And so this is it. This is really it. Like, this is the biggest dialectical step that I think any colonized person has taken outside the Chinese Communist Party for our future, for our liberation, for 40 generations of children to come back one day. I watched the CCP celebrate their 100th birthday the other day and just cried and cried because I was so happy, not just for them, for other colonized people to lift up and have that joy and their own freedom, but because I know that mine is coming. And not in a couple years and not in a couple generations, but soon, because I'm working for it and because I have the colonized brilliance of the entire planet behind me to guarantee it. And that's what Hammer City is. It's better than you can even imagine. It's your liberation in physical form. And that's why it's so important to me and so important to our people. Yeah, to freedom. And I refuse to take a step back. I even saw a job today on Facebook that was paying pretty well. And I was like, I wish my black ass would go back to the colony. When I got all this liberation in front of me, I wish that I would be so foolish to take 2 steps back when I can go 5 steps forward and be free. And that's what I want for my people. Land back.
Land back. We going 5 steps forward. All right. We about to go on that. We are on that long march for our people. We are going to reach our liberation through rain, through floods, through whatever white power tries to throw at us. We gonna make it because we're determined for our self-determination. Land back. So I want to pass off the same question to Chief Suh. I know you talked about the Wallapini structures a little bit, so thank you for dropping those facts. But I do want to hear from you a little bit more about what Hammer City means to you, what it means to the people.
Land back. Yeah, I definitely unite with everything Chief Ade said. It was absolutely beautiful. It's a lot of things for me, but I guess I'll just focus on a couple. One of them is colonized people being able to see their brilliance, because we never see our own brilliance reflected back to us on the colony. Either you never see it at all because it's being stolen from you by your BS colonial job, your BS colonial school program, your BS colonial contradictions that plague your life, right? So, like, for example, like I worked at Outback washing dishes for a really long time, like 5, 6, 7 years. I don't know how long exactly it all runs together. And like, I mean, I was spending hours and hours and hours every day washing dishes. Like, that's labor. And I never saw anything back from it. Like, my boss and the large corporation made money, and these like colonizers that ate the really, I don't know why people think it's like a good restaurant. It's like not a good restaurant. They got their dishes cleaned and that was it. And I had nothing to show for it. And my people had nothing to show for it. And that's such a common thing you hear from colonized people. It's like, this job is gutting me. It's breaking my back. Like, I have nothing to show for it whatsoever. In fact, I had negative to show for it. It's breaking my body. It's effing up my mental, and I've gotten nothing back from it. So to compare that with going onto Hammer City, touching that land, pressing your hands into those soil, sowing seeds into those soil, and a season later, reaping that harvest and watching yourself, your family, all the people you love, and all the colonized people in the world who have gathered to find liberation in Hammer City, watching them eat that food, watching it nourish their bodies, understanding that we did that for ourselves with no white person involved, no person dictating what we can and can't do, where we can and can't grow food, what type of food we can and can't make, what type of food we, none of that, having it from, to, of the colonized masses, up, down, all the way through, nothing interfering whatsoever is going to show us what we're really capable of, because there's such a common mental space that people in the colony get into where they believe that we need them, that we need this system. If it weren't for the colony, where would I live? Our people have had civilization since the beginning of time. And now you're going to let the people who at that same time were in caves eating their own poop tell us and what is it they built? This house is falling apart. And you want me to pay rent on land you stole for it? It's all of it. It's all of it. And it's just being able to, for colonized people, I think we don't understand what it does to us mentally to never get to see ourselves as leaders. But when there's no white people there, we'll know for sure we're the leaders because we're the only ones there. That, for one. And the other thing I wanted to talk about is just the war cry of land back. Understanding how it does link all colonized people together. Whether it's African people who are ripped from their land, someone like me who is ripped from my land, someone whose resources are gutted from the land so that they can't even comfortably live on their own land. But for me in particular, my homeland, that same war I was talking about earlier where they killed 20% of their population, they literally chopped it in half. And their families who, were pushed apart at that border at the 38th parallel, which is a fake border, who died without ever seeing each other again. My homeland is not somewhere that I can go back to and feel good about because half of it is occupied by the U.S. military. And so to have a little piece of the land back, understanding what that means for the colonized people who are indigenous to Turtle Island, and understanding what it heralds that we're getting all of our land back. Every single inch that they stole from us, we're coming back and we're going to get it back in full, and we're going to get it back multiplied back because our land wants us back too. It's not just this one-sided thing, unilateral, where we are effed up because we were stolen from the land. That land is effed up because we were stolen from it. It's like they gash wounds into it to extract everything they can, raping it for its resources, pillaging it, just absolutely decimating it and gashing these slits and holes through it and carving it up with these fake colonial borders. Our land is crying out for us just like we're crying out for it. And that reunion starts in Hammer City. Hammer City is the beginning of having our land back all over the world and our land getting us back too. And I just think that that's the best we can give to the colonized masses, and it's what they deserve. And that is what I see Hammer City being historically. It's the start of the anti-colonial revolution that will end this contradiction once and for all and give us that dictatorship over our lives, land, labor, and resources, and give the land the opportunity to breathe. They say that it's possible that we're only 7 years away from the point where there is so much colonial damage done to this earth that we start on a decline where it's not possible to repair it from going down into the point where it's uninhabitable. This earth needs revolution just as much as we do. That's what Hammer City is to me. Land back.
Land back, Chief Suh. That was amazing. The way that you laid that out and showed how we have to rebuild that relationship with the land. We got to let Mama Earth breathe, y'all. Mama Earth been doing so much for us every single day. She feeds us. She gives us air every single day. She makes sure that we have land to walk on and to love, that we have animals to also show that love to and also build that relationship with the land, to make sure that we have other colonized people around us, to make sure that we are not isolated our whole lives. Ain't none of us want to be the last person on earth. We want to be with our people all the time. We want to be with our mama earth. I love you. Mwah. Okay. We want to be with the animals, the insects, the grass, all that every single day. And that's where Hammer City is going to be. You know, when I first get to Hammer City, I just know I'm going to lay down and just take it all in and be like, wow, we are here. This is one of the steps to liberation. And we are here. And we're going to keep building all these Hammer Cities all over the world because we taking our land back. So I want to pass it off to Minister of Defense Sundiata. You just gave us that wonderful little speech and rundown about Hammer City. But I want to hear from you. You know, what does colonized unity look like in Hammer City? We already know it's going to be beautiful, but give us some details.
Man, Mac, absolutely. Yeah, Hammer City unity or colonized unity in Hammer City is going to look like a true cultural fusion. And I say true because any kind of cultural fusion that you see now at a restaurant or a store or whoever says that, it's orchestrated by the colony, right? It's the way to mix these cuisines, mix these aesthetics so that we can better sell, right? So we can better pander that culture. But the true fusion comes whenever you know, as an African are cooking a dish that your, you know, grandmother taught you to cook, right? And you're serving it on the same table that someone who is Korean, right, is serving the same dish that their brother, their mother, right, maybe their father taught them to cook, right, gave to them a piece of their soul, and you break bread and you exchange that, right? So I'm just looking in my mind at the dinner tables, the actual architecture as well. I mean, we can understand that whenever we have Asian, indigenous, and African people, we all know we got swagger. We all know we got our own little kind of drip, our own kind of cultural, the beauty, truly. But to see it together in a way where we're not exploiting each other, where it's not how do we combine it in the best way to, you know, market it, but it's truly like how do we put our souls together and become something new, right? Become something different. Look past national borders, look past even the history that the colonizer has manufactured and put in our past, but instead look to create something new, right? Where we can truly be human beings, right? Where we can truly be human beings, not in a way that's like, oh yeah, forget about like your oppression and forget about your ancestors because they don't matter and you're just a person, but in a way that you're able to cherish that and you can look into it and share it as well. I expect there's going to be a lot of sharing, and I expect as well that the theory of colonized unity is going to be proved very correct when we understand that the history overlaps too, right? Whenever an African and an person who's indigenous to Turtle Island are talking about, you know, for instance, myself, I got two grandfathers, or I'm sorry, two uncles, both serving life sentences in federal prison, right? So if I say that, I share that story and I hear from a story from a comrade who's indigenous about their family members who have been deported or even captured in these prisons and these slave camps of ICE, right? We see the connection, right? You can fully see in that, whether it's just reminiscing, whether it's sharing histories, telling stories, we will be able to see that it is all connected. That in order for us to truly get on our feet, get away from the colony, that we need to reconnect it as we know it has been. So I think you're going to see it in lots of ways. I'm a little hungry, so I think food is the first thing that comes to me. But I think just the beauty of it is going to show the colonized unity. Land back.
Land back, Minister of Defense Sundiata. Yes, we're going to be up in that kitchen in Hammer City, all cooking together and everything. And as you know, as Minister of Defense Sundiata said, we're going to be sharing in Hammer City. Oh, yes, honey. Okay. The collective all together, sharing their brilliance with each other, sharing their love with one another, because all white power gives is nothing but destruction and disgust. So sweep them off to the side. And yeah, sharing is caring. So we gonna build Hammer City. Y'all heard all these beautiful things about Build Hammer City, okay? So now you got a Cash App and Venmo, Build Hammer City, all right? Let me see those donations up in the comments. All right. I saw y'all at $10 and everything earlier. All right. Now we're going to up it a little bit to 15 because I know y'all want to get to Hammer City so quickly after y'all heard our wonderful hosts talk about this, this place ultimately where it's no rent, okay? And we already know it's an eviction crisis going on right now, a housing crisis right now. They trying to get our people out of having a home, having a place to live, having a place to come back to after a super long day on the plantation, And we don't want that for our people. We want our people to have a place to call home, to have people to come back to when they get back out from, our food forest. Yes, you heard it right here. We're going to have a whole food forest to feed all of our people in Hammer City. So if you're excited for that food forest, let me see $15 for the food forest and hashtag food forest. Who up in these comments ready for the food forest? What kind of fruits you want to see in the food forest? What kind of vegetables? What kind of grains and everything? Because, we're going to have an amazing harvest. Y'all ready for this harvest party we about to have in the food forest? Oh, yes, honey, because it's about to be plentiful every single year. So for this food forest, remember to Cash App, Venmo, Build Hammer City. Let me see it. I see y'all hashtagging food forest. Okay, but where are those donations? How much did you donate to the food forest? Do you really want the food forest that bad? Let me see them donations. I see Kimbabe gave $4 to Build Hammer City. Okay, $4 is definitely going to get you that interest into our food forest harvest party. Okay, I'll see you at the celebration. We're going to dance together and everything because we got our grapes and everything. We picked our apples for the day. Land back. Who else got some dollar bills for the food forest? Okay, I'm passing this collection plate around and I don't want to hear no jingle of coins, okay? I want to hear the rustle of bills, all right? Drop it in Cash App and Venmo. Build Hammer City. All right, let's see it. Yes, Bear. Also, such a brilliant and wonderful comrade. I love you, Comrade Oso, Comrade Bear. $5 for food forest. I already know. Bear gonna come through and we gonna pick all the snap peas together. Yes, snap peas. We gonna eat snap peas in Hammer City together. All right. I see SB, you got $10 on it. Okay, that's going to get you an even bigger meal right there. All right. So we going to, commune with the cows and everything in Hammer City. And they're going to be like, y'all so good to us. We're going to give you a little milk so you can turn it into cheese. And we about to have the best mac and cheese up in Hammer City. So I already know SB, come through and we're going to have some mac and cheese with that $10. All right. And we could get the vegan mac and cheese too if you need it, all right? We're going to add everything you want into that Hammer City mac and cheese because we already know Hammer City about to have the best food with all this colonized unity up in here, like Minister of Defense Sundiata said. So, yes, fried plantains, you already know. Okay, Kim Bobby, another $4. You want that mac and cheese too, don't you? I see you, okay? You know what we going to get you? We're going to get you a whole dinner, for this harvest party, we're going to have a couple of courses going on. We already know it because we got all this food coming in. All right. We're going to have that starter, that salad, that entree. All right. A couple of side dishes around it. We're even going to make the drinks from what we get from the food forest. Now tell me who in here, I know some of y'all love to drink like mango smoothies and everything. Yes, we're going to get those mangoes from our Hammer City food forest. Okay, Chief Cheem, $5 for the food forest. See, me and Chief Cheem gonna be clinking them mango smoothie glasses. I already see it. I'm so ready. But Landbag, just make sure you keep on donating to hashtag food forest. Include that donation with your hashtag. But Cash App and Venmo, Build Hammer City. You already heard it here, all right? And you ready for that food forest in Hammer City. So our show has ultimately come to an end. And I want to thank all of our wonderful chiefs for being here with us and sharing this space and talking about this colonized unity around the world. Because obviously the Fred Hampton leftist podcast, irrelevant, doesn't want to talk about it. They want to flake on it, okay? Because they want to suck up to a white person. Are you kidding me? Embarrassing, okay? That's very embarrassing, all right? Stick to your people. Colonize people, all right? And stick to colonized people in Hammer City. That's why we building together, and we building all over the world. So you better get up in here, blackhammer.org/join. And if you want to see Hammer City 2.0, 3.0, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1 million, where we gonna make sure that, food insecurity does not exist, where a housing crisis, we ain't never heard of that in Hammer City, okay? Rona, honey, that's where the colonizers are, right? So if you want to see Hammer City, build Hammer City. Cash App and Venmo, build Hammer City. But I want to thank all of our beautiful people for being here today, and our watchers, our viewers. And just so you know, we have our upcoming Tuesday rally at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We got events all the time up in Black Hammer, and I can't wait to see y'all there. So y'all can also see these beautiful chiefs every single week, Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on YouTube. So again, thank you, everyone, and land back.
Land back.
Land back.
Thanks for sticking around, y'all. We just turning up. Hey, y'all are so great, Chief Saw, Chief Ade, Chief Amalicia. Salute y'all for real.
Miss y'all.
Yeah, we miss you so much.
Yeah, come visit.
We are going to, when all the hammers get together, look, the world better watch out. We a problem. We control the air, the skies. Like, what can't we do?
That Colorado video was so awesome.
We're going to get so much done for the people. Love y'all very much. Thank you so much for having us and asking all these questions, Chief Ama. You're so talented. You're a really good orator.
You are. MOD, you were very generous when you said that you were bummed that they canceled. I was like, we get to talk to Chief Ama. This is going to be so much better. I'm so excited.
I know. It's like getting canceled by Wendy Williams to get on Oprah. Like, girl, bye. I have a place to be. Thank you so much. Really grateful for this. Hammers are so great. Waking up every day and being the best. It's tough, but somebody's got to do it.
I mean, it's kind of hard.
It's a little hard.
It's really hard.
Yeah.
It's worth it.
Not as hard as being ugly and white.
Or on the colony.
Ugh. Or united with white people. Can't relate. I think we just chatting now. All right.
We just shooting it.
We're just shooting it. Yo, did you see earlier? This is another reason we really need dictatorship of the land. Did y'all see with the
water?
Yes, the water.
The ocean on fire.
We keep missing the thread. There's a hurricane coming. There's a hurricane coming to the Gulf. It's going to spread that oil significantly. And what's really critical in that area is the coral reefs which exist in that Gulf.